I do project management with retail clients, and we have a number of kind of big box retail. I do mostly rooftop installation project management. So someone will call and be like, I'd like to put solar on my roof, and I'm pretty sure that they will model it here and tell them generally how much solar will offset the amount of energy they use. I went to college in a school called Carnegie Mellon, and I studied architecture there. And they had a big sustainability program. They had a whole center called the Center for Building Performance, and where they did a lot of energy modeling on buildings and indoor air quality modeling, and it was kind of a state-of-the-art facility in terms of efficiency in buildings. People aren't making money off making their homes sustainable or green. They basically have to spend a lot of money to do that, so it kind of puts it all on people that are either very wealthy or just kind of hippies, you know, and the percentage of those people just isn't very high. The genius of Solar City has been that they have been able to make energy efficiency affordable to people and give people a reason to do it. I mean, it's almost a no-brainer not to. See, this right here is one solar panel.
I've always been naturally kind of athletic. I always feel like even if someone is more skilled than me, I can still win. Because I think there's a lot more that goes into boxing than you know, just skills alone.
I do run into a lot of boxers who, in their mind, they think that in order to be good at boxing, they can only do boxing. I just don't think that's true. A lot of people are like, well, I can't really get a job because I need to train. And I'm like, well, how many hours a day are you really training? People are like, I'm training 8 hours. I'm like, no, you're not. You're just in the gym for 8 hours. Like, just because you're in there just drinking coffee doesn't mean you're training. You know, and there's a lot of people that are like kind of gym rats like that. Like, they just hang out there. And then in their brain, it's like, well, I'm training all day. Well, no, you aren't. You're just sitting in there talking to people. That's the one thing about boxing that's very different than any other sport, I think, is that it's really easy to get all consumed with it.
I'm shorter than most people. Everybody, actually. There's been nobody I've ever met that's shorter than me. I've met some people. They're usually very young. But I've never found anybody shorter than me. And so in the beginning, you know, there's a certain amount of base skill you need to be able to effectively get past, you know, people's jabs and things. So in the beginning, I found it very difficult when people were tall because, you know, I couldn't always get close to them. So if they had like good enough skills to you know, throw jabs and work behind them, I had trouble. And I think that now it's kind of become more of an advantage for me because my game plan is always the same. Like people, you know, I know there's a lot of fighters that are like, I'm gonna have to use this game plan, but like for me, the game plan is always the same because I have to get close to you. So it's not a secret, and it's not a secret for me when I'm going into a fight. Like I'm gonna try to get close to you because I have to, you know. And so for me, it's more about how I do that. You know, I do try to, you know, trade up how I do that so that, you know, I'm not bringing the same thing to every fight, but I think that I've been able to kind of really master being able to get close to people, and I think that's why now I've had the success that I've had. And now sometimes I almost prefer people that are taller because it's much more predictable.
She's like a dream to train, you know, because you show her something, she'll work on it. I don't have to babysit her. You know, that's one of my pet peeves is I don't like to babysit people, you know. I tell them what to do, and if they have questions, I'll explain it. You know, we can go over it, but I expect them to work on it. I'm not going to stand there and hold their hand and say, this is how it's done, you got to do it, got to do it, got to do it. You know, I'll explain it a few times, and, you know, I will go over the finer details with them, but they are the ones at the end of the day that are going to be in the ring fighting. So I can't fight for them. So they're the ones who have, you know, to put in the work and you know, make the corrections.
So, but I don't know I don't remember how Mighty came about. People just started calling it. People at work call me Mighty too. At least the people that used to, I mean, there's a lot of new people at my company now, so that's people I don't know anymore. But when I first started, it was a small company, and everyone used to call me Mighty. So people that have been there a long time still do. The majority of people don't anymore. But I don't know exactly.
She just keeps coming forward. She's a very pressure fighter. And she has a lot of good movement, so a lot of good lateral movement, and she's tricky. So it's not always easy to anticipate what she's doing next, as you can tell.
And your name? So
My name is Courtney.
Courtney?
Yeah.
Courtney?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's good because I always have to, I mean, a lot of my opponents are her height, so it's really good for me to be able to, like, know the range of most fighters, and you know, I mean, she's boxed for a long time, so she does have, like, a certain amount of, she does think about what she's doing, and she does, and which sometimes with, what happens for me is a lot of times when people get older, they get out of they're too big for me, so I end up fighting a lot of younger kids, and they don't always have as much, like, boxing intelligence, you know, so it's nice to work with Courtney because she kind of puts that together.
I have had some fights where I felt like I know I'm going to win this fight. But it's different. It's different I know I'm going to win, because I felt like I know I'm going to win at most fights. Every fight. I go in there thinking that. I love the fights where it's like, I'm going to win, but I need my best day. The fights where I'm like, I'm going to win even if I have kind of a crappy day, those are always harder. Like, I feel like I have to almost, like, create stress for myself so that I can make sure that I am on point for the fight, which I don't know. I'm still deciding if that's a good idea or a bad idea, but who knows. The difference is this. There are some fighters that I have fought where if they hit me, it doesn't really hurt that much, and I know they can't really hurt me with their punches, so it's kind of like my brain doesn't always say, I gotta get out of the way of this, right? It's kind of like, I'm gonna hit them. And that's what my brain says. I'm just gonna hit them, and I don't care if they hit me because they are weak, right? Whereas there's other fighters where it's like, okay, I can't get hit with that, you know? And so I feel like I always fight better against those fighters because I feel like there's that instinctual reaction to, like, okay, I can't get hit with that.